A European vacation is definitely out this summer, and now there are fewer places accepting U.S. travelers. In an attempt to satisfy his wanderlust, travel expert Angel Castellanos took a trip across the border recently. He joins us now to share his experience. Good morning to you, Angel. Miss seeing you around here.
Yeah, I miss being in studio with you guys.
Yeah, you and I have had the chance to chat a couple times over the years on your world travels and everything. Has this pandemic been kind of tough? Has it taken a toll on your love of travel?
Oh, absolutely. Just being at home, having trips canceled, the loss of income has definitely been tough, but I know that everyone is suffering in some way at this time.
Yeah, you're right about that. I do know that you were able to eventually make this trip to Mexico. When did you decide that was the right opportunity? Where did you travel and kind of walk us through that?
Well, Mexico is one of the few destinations that is allowing U.S. travelers, along with a couple of other spots in the Caribbean. And once the European ban came down, I knew Mexico was the obvious choice for me because I could easily take a nonstop flight from LA that's 2 hours long to Puerto Vallarta and be in a country that is practicing social distancing and having protocols in place, and that really didn't have a lot of requirements for Americans to get in.
So walk us through. You get on the plane. Was it about half the amount? I mean, kind of walk us through what it looked like in the COVID era.
So my American Airlines flight to Puerto Vallarta was about 30% full.
Okay.
And once you arrive in Mexico, they take a temperature check and you have to fill out a health declaration. I did that online, showed them the QR code, and then it was a regular immigration's customs process. And then I was in. And I also took a couple of flights within Mexico, which were completely different than my American Airlines flight.
Explain that, please.
So to fly within Mexico, they board from back to front, which I know a lot of the U.S. airlines are starting to implement, but there's also a temperature check. They disinfect your carry-on. You get a hand pump of sanitizer. And then deplaning is actually done by row. So you can't get out of your seat as soon as the bell rings. You have to wait until your row is called.
So Mexico's inter-country travel is actually more strict and safer in essence than what you felt was in the United States.
Yeah, I think so. And it really reflected what's going on within the country. You can't go in to any business without a temperature check, without the mask requirement, without hand sanitizer.
Interesting. So I know you tested negative before your trip, right? You wanted to get tested so you weren't getting on an airplane without. You were doing a responsible thing.
That all travelers definitely get tested before they travel and certainly after they return home. And good news for me is that I am negative. I just got my results, so I am negative for COVID.
Okay, so what's the point to people? Is it that if you do it right and you plan it out and you know how to, distance properly, wear your mask and everything, that, you can still travel at least to Mexico if you've got that travel itch like you always have?
Yeah, I think each person has to really evaluate their own health and whether or not it's worth it for them. For me, I definitely needed to get away, and it was really easy to social distance once I was in Mexico. So for me, it was definitely well worth it.
All right, you haven't touched on the hotels. How are they dealing with this in Mexico? I mean, everything from the check-in process, the pools being open. I mean, how did you feel safety-wise there?
So I stayed in both Airbnbs and hotels, and both have their pros and cons. Hotels have standardized cleaning. In one of the hotels that I was staying in the state of Quintana Roo, they have a fog machine that you have to walk into every time you enter or exit the hotel, social distancing. And in the state of Quintana Roo, hotels can only be 30% full at the moment.
Interesting. Okay, well, I know you got a lot of other tips for travelers. Where can people go to learn more, Angel?
AngelsTravelLounge.com.
All right, Angel, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Hopefully the next time I see you, it's face-to-face here. Everyone does.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks, buddy.